Assalamu alaikum everyone. In this test today we will able to know how to determine the moisture content of a soil particle, or moisture content is also known as uh, core water also, okay, or water content. So we can say moisture content or water content. So we have to find out the water content for a soil particle. So we have to take several white try this balance. Okay. So there is step-by-step procedure. We have to know exactly the steps one by one. So the purpose. What are the purpose? This test is performed to determine the water or moisture content of soil. So the test is what are the main objective? The main objective is to determine the moisture content of soil. So how we will determine it? We will later know about it. The water content is the ratio expressed as percentage of mass of core or free water in a given mass of soil to the mass of dry soil solid. That means the water content, that's actually the ratio of free water of a mass sample to the mass of dry soil solid. So basically we have to find how much free water is present on a sample and how much dry soil we have. So we have to dry the soil in the oven. Okay, after that we have to measure the void. What are the ASTM reference? For analyzing this lab, we have to maintain the STMD 2216 standard. Okay, so what are the significance? For many soils, the water content may be an extremely important index for establishing the relationship between the way a soil behaves and its properties. For different kind of soil, the water content may be extremely important index. So if we want to know the behavior of soil, how the soil react, how the soil act, if we want to establish a foundation, we have to know exactly how much water content is available on that soil. So it is very much important for us to test the soil for basically the water content amount. So between the way a soil behaves and its properties. So if we know the water content of a soil, then we can easily understand how it will behave and what is its real properties. The consistency of a fine-grained soil largely depend on its water content. So there are two kinds of soil we already know. One is coarse grain, one is fine grain. So for the fine grained soil, the consistency will depend on its water content. So to determine the consistency of fine-grained soil, we have to know the water content. The water content is also used in expressing the phase relationship of air, water, and solids in a given volume of soil. That means if we can determine the water content, we can easily establish a relationship of air, of water, and also the solids for a given volume of soil. That means we can easily know how much air is present on the sample, how much water is present on the sample, and also how much how really the solid is on that sample. Okay, that's the significance. And what are the equipments we need? We need drying oven, balance, moisture can, gloves, spatula. Okay, these are some equipments that we really needed for doing this experiment. Okay, so the first one, test procedure, record the moisture can and lid number. Okay, we have to record the weight of, here we can see the figure. We have to measure this lid. Okay, also this can. Okay, so these are the pen, and also these are the can and also the lid. We can see here, this is the lid and this is the can. So we have to measure what is volume. Determine and record the mass of empty, clean, and dry moisture can with its lid. So firstly, we have to determine the mass M1. So there is no soil sample. We are just taking the measurement of a can with its lid. Okay. So this is the empty pan empty can, and this is the mass M1. So we are measuring it or recording it in our or our uh, on a page. Okay, that's it. And the second one, place the moist soil in a moisture can and secure the lid. Then we have to collect the soil sample from the study area, from the field where the construction is going on. So we have to take the soil sample, I mean that is moist soil sample that has the water inside itself. Okay, so we have to take the sample and we have to put in a moisture can. Okay, and then we will close with its lid. That means we already put the moist soil in this can and we have put it down the lid carefully. Then we have to take another measurement. Okay, remove the lid and place the moisture can. Okay, I just skip that one. Determine and record the mass of moisture can containing the moist soil with the lid. That means the recorded weight is M2. So firstly, what we have done, we have taken the empty can and we have measured it. So the recorded weight was M1. Now we have put it down the moist soil sample into this can and we have put it down the lid. Now we have measured another weight, that is M2. So we have taken two measurements, one M1, the second one is M2. Remove the lid and place the moisture can in a drying oven that is set at 105 degrees Celsius. Leave it the oven overnight. What it means now, after taking the weight and chew, now we have to take away the lid. I mean this one. So if we take away the lid, we can see the moisture with soil. Okay. So now we have to put the can into an oven. We have to put it to the oven and the temperature should be 105 degrees Celsius and the oven should be kept overnight. I mean all the night we have to keep it into the oven at 105 degrees Celsius. Okay, so what will happen after that? Remove, okay. Remove the moisture can. Now we have to take the moisture can carefully and securely and replace the lid on the moisture can using gloves and allow it to cool at room temperature. Now we have to take the moisture can from the oven and now we have to place the lid once again. Okay, we will place the lid onto the can once again by using our gloves. Okay, and allow it to cool at room temperature. So we have to keep it for a while until it's cool. Okay, determine and record the mass of the moisture can and lid containing the dry soil M3. Now we have to determine and record. Now after taking away the can from the oven, we have to put down the lid. Okay, we have to place the lid once again. Now we have to take another measurement and this time one thing you will notice, there is no moisture at all at the soil sample. Okay, this time we have to take another weight, that is M3. So taking away the can from the oven, we have taken another weight, that is M3. Empty the moisture can and clean the can and lid. Now uh, we have to clean away the can and the lid. Okay, so we will throw away the soil sample. We don't need nothing now. We already have measured the weight, that is sufficient for us for this test. So gradually we will determine water content or moisture content. How can we will determine? So from the data analysis, now we have to determine the mass of soil. I mean the mass of solids, that is MS. How? You have to deduct M3, you have to deduct M1 from M3. That means M3 minus M1 is MS. So you know this M3 means the weight of solids with its can and also lid. So if we deduct the weight of can and bleach, we will get only the solid sample. So MS means only the solid sample without any water content. Okay. So MS includes only the solid one without having any water or water content. Determine the mass of pore water. Now we have to determine the mass of pore water. I mean the only the moisture. How much pore water or how much moisture we have to find out, and that is MW. So MW means M3 minus M2. What is M3? M3 means the weight of can, the weight of lead, and the weight of solid. So we have to deduct M2. What is M2? M2 means M2 means what is M2? You know, M2 means containing the moist soil with lead. That means without putting the soil sample into the oven, we already have determined M2. That means the weight of solid before keeping it to the oven, and also the weight of can and also lead. This is M2. So if we deduct M3, okay, if we deduct M2 from M3, that means M3 minus M2, that then we can find the moisture or pore water. Okay, so now we will find out the moisture or pore water. Okay, so if we put it down, the equation, if we put it down the equation W equal to MW by MS into 100%, we will find out the actual moisture content. I mean the actual percentage of water. So you have to put it down what value we have gotten in there, MW. Now you will have to put it down the MS in here. So you will find out the water content finally. So that is the W equal to MW by MS into 100%. So this is a simple equation, simple solution. So you have to make a simple calculation like this. In this case, one thing I will mention that you will get a negative value because we know if we dry the soil sample, so the water will be gone. Okay, okay. No, that's actually I am wrong. You won't get the negative mark. Sorry, negative value because we know if we dry any soil sample, that will become harder. So when a solid becomes harder, the mass and the volume is also increased. So that we already have deduct M2 from M3. We didn't deduct M3 from M2. Okay, so we deduct M2 from M3. That is actually the chemistry. Okay, so after deducting M2 from M3, we got MW. So by using these equations, we have to determine the actual water content. So you will find out this chart. First, you have determined the M1, okay, the MT and clean can with lead. Then you have determined the M2 mass of can lead and also the moist soil. Then you have determined the M3 mass of can lead and the dry soil. Okay. Then you have got MS. Then you have got MW. Now you have got finally the water content. I mean, how much water percentage is available on the soil sample. You will finally determine it. So it is very simple calculations, and you have to make a discussions about how much moisture content you have gotten from your lab. So finally, you have to rewrite the results and also make a simple sample calculations about the data sheet. So this is about the simple lab test of determining moisture content. So you all have to do this and have a good preparations. Best of luck.